Naruto, God-level system author, Blue Water God. Chapter 36 Mikoto works hard. Big fat man, if you still want to beat me, go practice for another 100 years. Ha ha ha. Uchiha Ken laughed wildly. Fury plus 10086. Kudao Dingzhuo's eyes lit up. What he hated most was when others called him fat. He was upset by Ken Uchiha, but now he has the heart to kill him. You stinky bastard, take a punch from me. A fist the size of a sandbag slammed into Ken Uchiha's face. HMPH. The slow fist also wants to hit me. Uchiha Ken easily avoided, although his consumption was already a lot, but it was still possible to avoid the unpleasant fist of Kudao Dingzhuo. Seeing Uchiha Ken avoiding, a gleam of light flashed in the small eyes of Kudao Dingzhuo. Then, the huge body quickly rushed forward, directly knocking Uchiha Ken, who was pretending to be aggressive, and pressing him under his body. In terms of strength, Uchiha Ken and the huge Kudao Dingzhuo, but there is no way to compare, and now they are pressed under the body. There is no room to dodge. He punched Kudao Dingzhuo hard for a few laps, causing Kudao Dingzhuo to grin, and then enduring the pain. He punched Ken Uchiha in the face. Kudao Dingzhuo has thick fat, which can reduce injuries, but Uchiha Ken was not so lucky, and was caught and slapped in the face. Okay. The two of you stop here. Wayne Oshiri stepped forward and opened Kudao Ding's seat. After sitting up, Kudao Ding scratched his head and said to Naro Shikaku, your method is really effective, let's see if he dares to look good. This method can't deal with real ninjas at all. This is because the teacher restricts the weapons. Otherwise, there will be a few holes left in your body now. You shouldn't really rush up like this in the future. Naro Shikahiza reminded. Kudao Dingzhuo was able to defeat Uchiha Ken, all by surprise. Otherwise, Kudao Dingzhuo, who couldn't keep up with the speed, would have a hard time defeating Uchiha Ken. Teacher, I don't agree. Uchiha Ken said sullenly, that he had just been pressed under that huge body, and there was no room for manipulation at all. And he felt that he had been defeated very wrongly. In the real battle, no one will tell you this. If you don't agree, why don't we practice? Rixianchin walked over and said. Seeing Rixianchin, Uchiha Jian's eyes flashed with a trace of fear. If he still had chakra, he might be tougher. But chakra had already used up when he defeated Hyuga Rigami with How Fireball before. Relying on physical skills, even killing Ken Uchiha didn't dare to challenge Rixianchin. Glancing at Ken Uchiha indifferently, Rixianchin walked towards the corner where Mikoto practiced. Mikoto, stop cultivating, it's time for school. Mikoto, who was refining chakra with her eyes closed, opened her eyes and looked at Rixianchin with a slightly cute look. Seeing Mikoto's cute appearance, Rixianchin stretched out her hand and pinched Mikoto's small face uncontrollably. Her cheeks flushed slightly, and then Mikoto stood up, looked at the sun that was about to set, and couldn't help complaining, how time flies so fast. I know that Mikoto wants to increase her strength quickly, but her cultivation should be done step by step, otherwise you will only hurt yourself. Rixianchin's face was slightly serious. Yeah, I know Chen. Mikoto nodded, but her eyes still showed determination. Mikoto is the kind of character who is soft on the outside and tough on the inside. Rixianchin knew that Mikoto didn't listen at all, and his little face couldn't help showing a helpless look. He had lived with Mikoto for more than half a year, and he also knew Mikoto's character very well. Actually, as long as your shaker eyes evolve, you can quickly increase your strength. As long as you evolve into a kaleidoscope shaker, your shadow level strength is adequate. Mikoto shook her head. In the entire Uchiha family, legend has it that only Madara Uchiha has evolved that kind of supreme eye, and it is very difficult to evolve into a kaleidoscope. Rixianchin smiled. After seeing Hokage, Rixianchin knew how to open the kaleidoscope. If Rixianchin has a writing wheel, he may not be able to open the kaleidoscope, but it is a bit simple to help others open the kaleidoscope. As long as he is a talented Uchiha clan, Rixianchin can help him open it, but the method is too brutal, and Rixianchin does not want to use it on Mikoto. If Rixianchin used the illusion and horror reincarnation on Mikoto now, at least Mikoto would be able to open the three-hook jade. But it is very likely that Mikoto will leave an indelible psychological shadow in Mikoto's heart, and it will be worth the loss at that time. Don't worry Mikoto, I have a way to turn on the kaleidoscope writing wheel, but Mikoto will have to suffer some crimes. I hope you don't hit me in the future. Rixianchin said with a smile. He has already thought of a way to help Mikoto open the kaleidoscope, but Mikoto will be a little stimulated by then, which is unavoidable. Who made the Uchiha family such a perverted family? Only when the spirit is stimulated can the kaleidoscope be opened. Really? Mikoto couldn't believe it, but Mikoto chose to believe Chen. Of course it's true, but Mikoto, I have something to tell you. What? It doesn't matter if you can't turn on the kaleidoscope. Anyway, I didn't have the luxury of turning on the kaleidoscope. It's okay to turn on the kaleidoscope, but there is a side effect of the kaleidoscope, which is that overuse can lead to vision loss and even blindness. Rixianchin looked serious. The side effects of the kaleidoscope shaker is not a small problem. After being silent for a long time, Mikoto raised her head and said, if the side effect of the kaleidoscope is really that big, then don't turn it on. Rather than being powerful, She wanted to be able to see Chen every day. Don't worry, I should be able to find a way to make you evolve into an eternal kaleidoscope, so that there will be no side effects. Chen smiled and comforted. He is carrying the system. There is an omnipotent system, and it should be trivial to solve the problem of the side effects of the kaleidoscope. Eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel. Mikoto looked at Chen suspiciously. She knew about the kaleidoscope. To be precise, the current Uchiha people all knew about the kaleidoscope. But she really hadn't heard of Eternal Kaleidoscope Shaker. Hey, what are you two mumbling over there? Nawaki shouted in the distance. Nothing, Chen replied in a low voice. After I go back, I will explain the Eternal Kaleidoscope to you. The ninja school is very loose. Under normal circumstances, school will be dismissed after 4 o'clock. This makes Chen feel good, and it is much better than the school in the heaven. And ninja school has a very high degree of freedom. As long as your practice grades are good enough, you can freely control the practice class in the afternoon. Chapter 37 Kaleidoscope. Eternal Kaleidoscope. After school, I said hello to my classmates, and Chen and Mikoto went home. Although Rixian Rizu and Rixian Riga are on the same road as Chen, they do not go together, mainly because Chen feels uncomfortable with 2 big light bulbs. After returning home, Mikoto resisted her curiosity and went to prepare dinner. After dinner, Mikoto looked at Chen with big eyes. Seeing Mikoto's expectations, Chen coughed lightly, and then began to show off her knowledge. But if I really want to say it, Chen doesn't know where to say it. Could it be from Pang-U's creation of the world? Let's take the Uchiha family first. The Uchiha family is very extreme, and their thoughts are more extreme. You should know this, Mikoto. Mikoto nodded. It was true. She lived in the Uchiha family since she was a child. This is clearer than Chen continued. Uchiha people want to open their eyes. Most of them are when they encounter big changes, or when they are in a crisis of life and death. The opening of Sharingan, in my opinion, is the extreme fluctuation of the spirit, breaking the restrictions in the body, and then awakening the Sharingan hidden in the blood. It's a little troublesome to open the eyes of the writing wheel, but as long as it is turned on, it is relatively simple to evolve from 1 hook to 3 hooks. I guess it can evolve by accumulation. Chen guessed. He didn't write the wheel either, so he could only guess by himself. Chen wasn't sure whether it was right or wrong, but these were not important. With Mikoto's talent, Sankua could definitely be opened. Let's not talk about the kaleidoscope writing wheel first, just say the kaleidoscope writing wheel. If you want to open the kaleidoscope writing wheel, you have to pay a huge price. For example, seeing the death of the person closest to you. Hearing this, Mikoto's pupils shrank suddenly. The person she is closest to now is Chen. If the kaleidoscope can be opened only by letting him die, she would rather never open it. Seeing Mikoto's nervousness, Chen comforted him. Don't be nervous, actually opening the kaleidoscope is not this way. Afterwards, Chen took out 2 small salt water bottles, which contained 2 3-column jade writing wheel eyes, but the pupil power contained in them made Mikoto feel an incomparably powerful sense of oppression. Chen, what is this pair of writing wheels? It was inspired by Uchiha, and these eyes have evolved into a kaleidoscope. Mikoto was extremely shocked. Uchiha Kaito actually opened the legendary kaleidoscope writing wheel. Yes, I helped him open it. Chen smiled, without explaining the specific situation. Mikoto was not shocked that he killed Kaito Uchiha, and then gouged out his eyes, which surprised Chen. Seeing Chen's surprise, Mikoto said firmly, the only person I am closest to now is Chen. No matter what Chen does, I will support her. Chen was silent for a long time, and then he continued to speak. Mikoto's words, he could only keep silently in his heart. Put down the kaleidoscope first. What we are talking about is the Eternal Kaleidoscope. It is dozens of times harder to open the Eternal Kaleidoscope than to open the kaleidoscope. If you want to open the Eternal Kaleidoscope, you must have a kaleidoscope writing wheel, and then transplant your brother's kaleidoscope. This condition is very abnormal. If you want the Eternal Kaleidoscope, you must ensure that you can turn on the kaleidoscope. You must also ensure that you have brothers and sisters, and then you must ensure that the brothers and sisters also turn on the kaleidoscope. The odds are really small. With this condition, does anyone really open the Eternal Kaleidoscope? Mikoto widened her mouth. There is indeed, and you also know that it is Madara Uchiha. When Madara Uchiha's younger brother Uchiha Azuna died, he gave Madara his own writing wheel, and it was this accident that contributed to the Eternal Kaleidoscope was born. But to evolve the Eternal Kaleidoscope, there is definitely more than one way. There are definitely other ways. Chen's eyes were shining. Indra Otsutsuki also has an Eternal Kaleidoscope. Although he is a brother, his younger brother inherited the human body of an immortal, so his Eternal Kaleidoscope was definitely not obtained by transplantation. There is also the mysterious 6 Paths Immortal. He doesn't know how to evolve. Chen, you know a lot. This kind of thing, even her Uchiha family doesn't know. I also know that the Eye of the Wheel can evolve into the Eye of Reincarnation, Chen said secretly. However, Xianchen didn't say it. It is estimated that what he said now made Mikoto's heart shake. What is the eye-opening method that Chen said about the kaleidoscope writing wheel? Mikoto asked curiously. When the kaleidoscope is opened, it is not to see the death of the close person. The death of the close person is just an incentive. Seeing the death of a loved one and the extreme mental fluctuations, it is possible to open the kaleidoscope, but not everyone can open it. Xianchen expressed his understanding. Don't worry Mikoto, I can definitely make you evolve into an eternal kaleidoscope, Chen said confidently. Yeah, I believe you. Mikoto nodded sharply. But I still have to practice hard, otherwise I can't even open the three-goose jade writing wheel. How to evolve the kaleidoscope writing wheel? After cleaning up the dishes, Mikoto went upstairs to her room to practice. Xianchen shrugged helplessly, and then returned to the room. He wanted to look in the system to see if there was anything that could make people evolve into eternal eyes. Open the system store and search for something related to eternal kaleidoscope. Sure enough, it appeared directly. The top one is to directly exchange the eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel, but it is also the most expensive, requiring 500,000 exchange points. In addition to the 100,000 exchange points given by the system in hand, there is still a shortfall of 500,000. This will take 40 years to accumulate. Give it up. Give it up. After seeing the price, Xianchen immediately gave up. Then look at the next one. This is an evolution fluid that can make the kaleidoscope evolve into an eternal kaleidoscope. It needs 300,000. This can be considered. Looking further down, the bloodline is increased once. This is more expensive. It costs 1 million. But it can evolve to the Eye of Reincarnation. There are no more below. There are only 3 in total, and among these 3, the evolution fluid of 300,000 can be considered by Xianchen. But it takes 20 years to accumulate exchange points. Don't worry now, let's talk about it later. If you really can't do it, you will be cheeky and exchange points with the system. I don't know if the system will give you face. With a sigh, Xianchen had no choice. Who made this system not have the function of earning exchange points at all? Xianchen's abilities were all obtained from the gift package given by the system, as well as by lottery draws. Otherwise, looking at the price of this store, he can't afford one. Chapter 38 Uzumaki Kushina. Mikoto, you didn't sleep all night, did you? Looking at Mikoto's big dark circles, Xianchen said with a frown. Well, Chen, the amount of information you said before is too much, plus I practiced for a while, and I haven't rested yet. The sky is already bright. Mikoto, I'm not telling you, too much chakra refining will only drain your body and even put your life in danger. You should not refine chakra for the time being. Xianchen had a serious expression and said without doubt. Xianchen is definitely not joking. Chakra and martial arts novels have different internal strengths. It is undeniable that chakra is indeed stronger, but in terms of health preservation, the difference is too far. I see. But if I don't refine chakra, what am I practicing? Mikoto said with her head lowered. Ninjutsu practice. Mikoto has been able to use the technique of the fireball, the technique of Fengxian fire, and other more powerful ninjutsu. Mikoto's chakra is not enough, and she can't release it at all. This is also the reason why Mikoto is desperately trying to refine chakra. I gave this to you. I wanted to give it to you after waiting for a few years, so I'll give it to you now. Xianchen gave Mikoto all the training methods of the 6th form of the Navy, as well as the training methods of being domineering in armed and domineering. The only thing Xianchen can teach Mikoto is physical art. Although Xianchen also has a powerful illusion, this illusion is not suitable for Mikoto. If you want to use this illusion, you must first understand this illusion. If it is given to Mikoto, she may be terrified. Physical skills. Mikoto took it and put it away. Since Chen let her practice, it would definitely be good for her. She believed that Chen would not harm herself. Looking at you like this, you should take a rest today. I'll ask you for a leave, so you can rest at home. By the way, take a look at the physical skills I gave you. But don't practice randomly. After reminding, Xianchen ate breakfast, picked up the bento and went to school. Mikoto didn't object. She sent Xianchen away with a soft gaze, and then went back to rest. After coming to the classroom, Nawaki, who came early every time, was surprised. Where's Mikoto? Why didn't I go with you? Could it be that you were the one who gave up and abandoned Mikoto? Go, go. There are no ivories sticking out of the dog's mouth. Mikoto is not feeling well today, so she didn't come. Xianchen pushed the Nawaki away. How could a dog spit ivory out of its mouth? No. Chen, you guy, actually called me a dog. Only then did Shengshu react. Wow. Inuzuka's black pill grinned. Nawaki looked at Kuramaru and felt that a dog seemed to be mocking him. He was immediately upset and glared at Kuramaru. With the same knowledge as a dog, you don't have anyone on Nawaki anymore. Seeing this scene, Xianchen laughed out loud. With the arrival of the class members, the whole class became more lively, and it didn't stop until the class was about to begin. It's really strange. Usually, Teacher Ueno has already come at this time. What happened this time? Could it be that he is ill? Shengshu said strangely. Maybe there is something wrong. You can't expect the teacher to order the Nawaki. Nara Shikahisa said, lying on the table. Luju, You are too unmotivated. You are exactly the same as Chen. Hai Yi, it's time for you to speak. Don't bring me. And Ding Zhuo, can you be quiet when you eat? It's so noisy. Xianchen raised his head. So you didn't fall asleep? Yamanaka Heiichi said embarrassedly. Yamanaka Hai glanced blankly, and then Xianchen lay down on the table again, refining chakra. In fact, he was also very curious. Wainoshiri, this teacher, is very qualified. He usually comes early, and he has never been late. 30 minutes later, Waino-sensei arrived late, followed by two little red-haired girls. Looking at one of them, Xianchen felt a little familiar. With red hair, could it be Uzumaki Kushina? Who is the other? Xianchen was puzzled, and he could understand the appearance of the whirlpool Kushina. But who is the other girl? Is it because of him, the butterfly effect? This is Uzumaki Kushina. This is Uzumaki Tomoko, a new transfer student to our class. You bastards, you must not bully new classmates, Wainoshiri warned. Then he said to the two girls of Uzumaki Kushina, you are in the class, find an empty seat and sit down. Uzumaki Kushina was carefree, as if she didn't care about anything, while Uzumaki Tomoko, who was at the extreme with Kushina, looked extremely shy. Their hair is weird, isn't it? It's red, similar to Dingz's hair. Yeah, look at that whirlpool Kushina, her face is so round. It's like a flatbread, with red hair, just like a tomato. A pound sign appeared on Uzumaki Kushina's forehead, holding back his anger. He walked down, and then sat down on Mikoto's seat. Xianchen couldn't help looking at her. Look at what this lady is doing. Don't you want to laugh at me? Believe it or not, I'll hit you. Duke Sinai raised her pink fist and gestured towards Xianchen. Didn't you see the books here? There are already people here. Xianchen pointed at the books on the desk. So what? I'm sitting with you. It's for your face. Don't you still look down on me? Miss Ben wants to sit here. What can you do with me? Duke Sinai looked charming. It can only be one day. When Mikoto comes tomorrow, you can leave. Xianchen continued to lie on the table after finishing speaking. Huh? Where's Mikoto? Why didn't you come? Originally wanting to reprimand these disobedient students, he suddenly noticed that Kushina was sitting in Mikoto's seat, so he asked. Teacher, Mikoto is a little uncomfortable today, so she didn't come to class. Xianchen stood up and said, what's the matter? Is it serious? Wainoshiri asked with concern. It's nothing, it's just a small problem. Just get some sleep. Xianchen shook his head. That's good. Wainoshiri nodded, then turned into an angry face. You little bastards, what did you say to you just now? You are talking about new classmates in a blink of an eye. Let me hear it again. Look at me how to punish you. Kushina-kun, please sit down the first. Tomoko-kun will go to the back seat first, and I'll change your seat when you're free. Ah. Yes, Uzumaki Tomoko said nervously, and then hurried to the back position. Tomoko-san doesn't have to be so nervous. Wainoshiri reassured, the two of them are Hokage-sama, who personally ordered them to be taken care of. Wainoshiri can't be sloppy. Chapter 39 Self-Introduction. I have introduced your names before, and now it is up to you to introduce your own preferences and dreams, so that your classmates can get to know you. Let's start with Kushina-san. Wainoshiri knew that Uzumaki Tomoko was shy, so he wanted to let Uzumaki Kushina start. Uzumaki Kushina didn't have any stage fright at all. She slapped the table and stood up. My name is Uzumaki Kushina. I like ramen. I hate tomatoes, sissy. And this guy? Kushina pointed to Xianchen. Xianchen had a question mark on his face. Did he offend Duke Sinai? My dream is to be the first female Hokage, and my introduction is over. Kushina sat down with a bulging face. Ha 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 ha. If you want to become Hokage, I'm dying of laughter. Nawaki, Minato, your competitors are here. Systeria, are you talking about Minato? Minato does look like a girl. And this guy Chen, who is narcissistic and claims to be a heartthrob, fascinates all the little girls, and is actually hated. As soon as Kushina finished speaking, all kinds of ridicule followed, and even Xianchen, Nawaki, and Shueman were all affected by Chu. Humphrey, it's just a female class, and she wants to become a Hokage, too. Uchiha Ken snorted coldly. Although he never said it, his goal was also Hokage. And Uchiha Ken also set a small goal for himself, that is to become the patriarch of the Uchiha family first. Only I can be Hokage. Nawaki's eyes were burning with fire, and when he mentioned Hokage, he would be full of fighting spirit. Let's work hard towards Hokage's position together. Minato, who was originally embarrassed by Kushina's sissy words, also said with a smile. HMPH. Sissy. Looking at Minato's sunny smile, Kushina snorted softly. The thing she looked down on most was sissy. Minato smiled awkwardly, then sat back. On the surface, she pretends to be stronger than anyone else, but she is extremely fragile on the inside, and Mikoto, who is soft on the outside and tough on the inside, is basically two characters. Xianchen said in a low voice. Although Xianchen's voice was low, Kushina just heard it, and immediately stared at Xianchen with angry eyes. Because Kushina's small face is a little baby fat, it looks round. With red hair, it really looks like a tomato. Sure enough, it was only the wrong name. Not the wrong nickname, he muttered to himself, and Rick Xiangchen fell down. Duke Sanai glared at Rick Xiangchen viciously, then sat down angrily, planning to wait until after school to stop him, beat him, and see if he dared to say that he was weak. In fact, the current Kushina, as Rick Xiangchen said, just wanted to use disguise to cover up his weakness. She has just experienced the collapse of the country in this unfamiliar village, that is, for a few days. Only Tomoko Uzumaki knows someone, and she subconsciously wants to protect herself with a tough appearance. It's utter insecurity. But after being told by Rick Xiangchen, Kushina was embarrassed, and she was planning in her mind how to beat Rick Xiangchen. However, Kushina didn't realize that she said she hated Rick Xiangchen, but she didn't hate it in her heart. Instead, she felt a familiar aura on Rick Xiangchen, which made her feel very close. Tomoko, introduce yourself too. Don't be nervous, Ueno Ishiri said while staring at the whole class with vicious eyes. These guys just didn't pay attention to him. They had already said it. They all took their own words as a deaf ear, and made Ueno's hearts rise to clean up them and erect their own majestic thoughts. Seeing Shiri Ueno's stern gaze, the students below immediately sat down, looking like a good baby. Uzumaki Tomoko stood up weakly and said softly, My name is Uzumaki Tomoko, I like to do housework, there is nothing to hate, and my dream is to live a normal life. The introduction was quite satisfactory, and no one made any trouble or said anything sarcastic. Because Uzumaki Kushina and Uzumaki Tomoko are too weak, they are embarrassed to bully her. If any of you dare to bully Tomoko, I will definitely blow your dog's head off, Kushina said fiercely. But with her small face with a little baby fat, there is no deterrent at all. Wow! Kuramaru barked a few times at Kushina, feeling that his dog was innocently lying. Kuramaru, be quiet, I finally brought you into the school. Inuzuka paw pressed Kuramaru's head. Kuramaru lowered his head in dissatisfaction. There is a black line in the tree of Ueno, and the whole first grade, their class A, is definitely the most chaotic. As soon as the school started, there was a fight, which became famous throughout the school, and then Uchiha Fugaku was hospitalized, and the name became even bigger. Who made this class have so many family students that it was difficult to manage. There is nothing to do in the Ueno tree. Listen to me carefully, especially the two of you, Hyuga and Naruto Kahiza. If you dare to sleep again, I will throw you out, Ueno Ishiri said sternly. These two people are the most troublesome in the Ueno tree. They sleep all day, but they can get full marks every time. Rick Xiangchen raised his head helplessly. With his unparalleled mental power, he could not forget it. He learned this theory very quickly, and there was no need to listen carefully. He had already learned it all. A lazy guy like you is also worthy of being a ninja. Just go home and farm, Kushina said with a venomous tongue. Bump! Rick Xiangchen snapped a finger and hit Kushina on the head, causing Kushina's tears to flow out. However, Kushina was very strong, so she didn't say a word, only her teeth rattled. Be honest this time, Rick Xiangchen said with a smile. You guy, wait for me. Kushina gritted her teeth and said, and then stood up abruptly. Teacher? He bullied me and hit me on the head with his fingers. Kushina pointed at Rick Xiangchen and complained to Ueno Ishiri. Ueno Ishiri, who was lecturing earnestly, broke the chalk in his hand with a click. Rick Xiangchen, bully the new classmates. You have become more capable. Go out and punish me. Then Ueno Ishiri looked at Kudao Dingzuo. And Kudao Dingzuo, don't think I can't see you stealing food. I can see it clearly on it. Rick Xiangchen glared at the proud Kushina, then walked to the Nawaki and snatched the game console he was secretly playing. Let me play this. Dingzuo, bring your snacks. Let's go. Under the angry eyes of Ueno Ishiri, Rick Xiangchen was holding the game console, and Kudao Dingzuo was holding a lot of snacks, and the two walked out struttingly. Bastard Chen, this is the latest game console I bought after saving money for a long time. Don't let me play it bad. Sheng Shu shouted. Senjorashu, you also go out to accompany the two of them. Ueno Ishiri growled. Chapter 40. I won't hit you after school. Dingzuo, don't be so stingy. You have already given Chen. Why don't you give it to me? It will hurt the feelings of the classmates too much. Sheng Shu is asking Kudao Dingzuo for snacks. Dingzuo covered the snacks with both hands, looked at the Nawaki vigilantly, and said unhappily, Chen often invites me to eat. You are a rooster, you can't pull a hair. I won't give it to you. Don't I have no money? My pocket money was taken away by the old sister. I bought this game console with the money I secretly accumulated for a year. Sheng Shu said pitifully. Seeing that the Nawaki was indeed pitiful, Kudao Ding reluctantly took out a package of potato chips and handed it to the Nawaki. You remember to pay me back in the future. Dingzuo did not forget to remind. Don't worry, when I get rich, I will definitely treat you to a big meal. Sheng Shu patted his chest and said, Ha ha Tilda, do you still have money? Let's talk about it when you graduate and do your assignments. Rick Xiangchen heard the words and raised his head with a disdainful smile. Then I won't give it to you. As soon as Dingzuo heard it, he quickly reached out and took the potato chips back. However, Nawaki took a step faster and was the first to dodge Dingzuo's big hand. It's just a bag of snacks. You see there are so many there. Don't be so stingy. Shang Shu opened the package with a smile, and smelled the fragrance of potato chips with an intoxicated face. Xianchen couldn't help kicking the Nawaki. It's just a bag of snacks, is there any need to exaggerate? Nawaki covered his and said unhappily, why not? The last time I ate snacks was half a year ago. You guys are really leisurely outside. Nara Shikahisa, who was blindfolded, walked out of the classroom. Why did you come out? Nawaki asked. Needless to say, the painting's eyes must have been discovered, and then he was kicked out. Xianchen said lightly. When he left the classroom, he found that Nara Shikahisa was sleeping, and in order to confuse the teacher, he also drew a fake eye. Nara Shikaku nodded, then took a bag of snacks in the arms of Akudodingza. Until the end of the get out of class, Wano came out of the tree and looked at Xianchen and the four of them. It was so angry. Xianchen was playing games on the game console, while Nawaki watched, yelling from time to time. Dingzhuo ate and drank, and Aluja leaned against the wall and slept. The four of you are simply rotten wood that cannot be carved. After speaking, Wano Shuri left angrily. Wano-sensei seems to be angry. It's okay. Wano-sensei is angry all day anyway. Shang Shu, the two transfer students who came here today live in your Kaienzu family, right? How do you know, Chen? It's true that he lives in our Kaienzu family, but he has always lived with Grandma. I just saw him once a few days ago. Shang Shu nodded. The Vortex family and the Kaienzu family are distant relatives. I still know that. After replying, Xianchen threw the game console in his hand to Nawaki, and then returned to the classroom. Humphrey. Duke Sinai snorted lightly when she saw Xianchen, her eyes full of pride. Xianchen glanced at her and decided not to know the little girl in general. Seeing Xianchen ignoring her, Duke Sinai felt an uncomfortable feeling in her heart, and pushed Xianchen with her hand. You cheapskate, shouldn't you be angry? Who told you to hit me? It hurts you know. I'm not mad at a little girl yet. Who are you calling a little girl? I'm small there. Jixinai, I said angrily. Tilda, where are you not young? Xianchen also glanced at Jixinai's chest. Are you a big pervert? Kushina covered her chest with both hands and looked at Xianchen with perverted eyes. The corner of Xianchen's mouth curved into the radian, and said in a disdainful tone, there is nothing. You think I am rare? Let's talk about it when you grow up. You wait for me. Kushina's cheeks puffed up, making her little face even rounder. Don't say it. They call you tomatoes for no reason. Xianchen said softly. You bastard. Jachinai grabbed Xianchen's arm angrily, and then bit down. You belong to a dog, right? Xianchen hurriedly retracted his subconscious power. But fortunately Xianchen responded in time, otherwise Kushina's teeth would have collapsed. Xianchen Huai's 6-type navy iron block can make the body as hard as iron. Although it is not as strong as the defense of the armed color, there is absolutely no problem with breaking Kushina's teeth. Duke Sinai let go of his mouth, purred softly, and then asked suspiciously, look at your skin so white and tender, how is it like cowhide? You can't bite at all. Seeing that after biting for a long time, no tooth marks were left on Xianchen's arm, Kushina was quite surprised. Chen, what's the matter with you? Shang Shi walked in and pointed at the arm that was held by Jixinai. Okay you guy, Mikoto just didn't come for a day, so you got together with other girls. You're just scum. Shang Shi looked at Xianchen with contempt. Shang Shu's voice was not small, so that the eyes of all the classmates were all focused on Xianchen and Uzumaki Kushina, and then all the male classmates showed contempt, mixed with a trace of envy. The female classmates all looked at Kushina with envious expressions. Xianchen shrugged and didn't explain anything. Anyway, no one believed it. Explain it. What's more, he had a good impression of Kushina. Otherwise, try another person to bite Xianchen. If you don't break your teeth, you can count your teeth as strong. Don't talk nonsense, you people. Kushina stood up blushing. Look at her blushing. With her red hair, she looks more like a tomato, not as gentle as Mikoto. I didn't expect Chen to like tomatoes. It's so tasteless. Kushina's tears swelled in her eyes, forcing herself not to let it fall. Enough. Don't say it. Xianchen said expressionlessly. Looking at Xianchen's face, even the Nawaki that can jump the most, sat down embarrassedly, and the others didn't dare to speak. Actually, your red hair isn't ugly. You're pretty cute with your baby fat face. At least in the ninja school, except for Mikoto, all the other girls are not as pretty and cute as you. Xianchen said softly. Really? Kushina asked a little unconfidently, slightly crying. Of course it's true. If you don't believe me, look at the class. Even the Uzumaki Tomoko who came with you is not as beautiful and cute as you. Yeah. Kushina nodded lightly, and then said seriously, thank you for your comfort. I promise that after school, I will let you go once and won't hit you again. Xianchen was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect that before Juksanai. He actually thought of hitting himself after school. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.